So hello everyone. In the previous session, I think remember we discussed about this chapter 3 physics used in HVAC, and we end with the vapor compression cycle. But you see, related to vapor compression cycle, one more point is pending. That is a condensation on the evaporative coil. And wanted like hold that point because that point we can discuss only after learning this psychrometric properties, especially the dew point temperature. So let me quickly give you the idea. We talk about the evaporative coil in the previous session. So, just remember that when the air is coming out after touching to that evaporative coil, the first point you see, don't get confused, the air and refrigerant will not mix. Refrigerant is within that copper pipe only, means within that evaporator, and air is going to throw on that. Okay, so in actual practice, you'll find the bunch of fins that I'll show you in chapter 5, don't worry. So when the air is thrown on that evaporative coil, the air loses the heat to the refrigerant. Okay, and remember, in evaporator, the temperature of refrigerant is less or equal to the dew point temperature. So what is exactly dew point temperature? I'll show you in this chapter 4. So whenever the temperature less than equal to dew point temperature, remember the condensation will start. And that's the reason you'll get the water from the AC. How exactly? I'll show you after completing this dew point temperature. Okay, so this dew point temperature again related to vapor compression cycle. We'll discuss. Let me complete this. So in this session, we'll talk about this psychrometry, and this is very, very, very important. Why this is important? Because you see, I think remember in the first session we talk about this air conditioning or the HVAC. So in HVAC, what we are doing, we are supposed to maintain the condition of air either by adding the heat or removing the heat. So what do you think? Without knowing the properties of air, can you think to condition the air? No. So that's the reason we are talking about this psychrometry. So psychrometry is what? Psychrometry is a study of what? Air. In short, we used to call air, but you know this already we discussed. Air means what? Moist air, right? So you see, psychrometry is a study and analysis of property of air and water vapor mixture. Except special cases, in actual practice, you'll find the moist air. Special cases means generally in desert areas or with the low humid areas, you may find the dry air. That is a special case. But when you talk about air means by default, we are considering air and water vapor mixture. And the study of air and water vapor mixture is a psychrometry. Okay. And you must know the properties of air. Then only we can think to condition the air as per the home and comfort or as per the process control or as per the application requirement, etc. So it's a very basic topic, but very, very important. Okay, so first we'll talk about the different properties of air. And why we'll talk about the properties of air? So that using psychrometric chart, one can find these properties of air. For what? For the load calculation. Load calculation means again for conditioning the air, because the load calculation is we talk about heating or cooling load calculation. In that we are going to learn how much cooling or heating is required as per the requirement. So without this psychrometric properties, especially when you talk about ventilation, when you talk about infiltration, and when we talk about the CFM, we require the psychrometric analysis. So for all this topic is very, very important and very simple. You can easily understand this. Just you need to just visualize so that you'll get the clear idea about the psychrometry. And after learning the psychrometry, means the properties of air, we'll talk about this psychrometric chart in manual and using the software, so that the same we can use at the time of load calculation to find the properties of air at the time of calculation. Okay. Apart from this, we'll talk about the psychrometric analysis, not in chapter 4, in load calculation, because after learning some more parameters only, we can think for the psychrometric analysis. So in this chapter 4, I'm going to explain the properties of air and the psychrometric chart, manual and software. So let me proceed. So what I explain the same theory here. So there are different types, different properties of air. First, we'll start with the arrival temperature. So if you talk about the list, first is the arrival temperature. Second is a Weddell temperature. Then we have a dew point temperature. No need to write, everything is there in this note. So first is the arrival temperature. Second is a Weddell temperature. Third is a dew point temperature. Then we have this relative humidity. Then we have humidity ratio. Then we'll talk about enthalpy of air. Okay. So let me start first with the arrival temperature. So this is very simple. You see, for example, assume that this is a thermometer at present in my video. Assume that this is not a pen, this is a thermometer. Actually, it's a digital pen, but assume that this is the thermometer and this is the mercury bulb, for example. So with this thermometer, if I measure this room temperature or the outside temperature under shade, not under direct radiation, Because remember, when you talk about drivable temperature, we are not considering the radiation heat. So under shade, if I measure the outside temperature or if I measure the inside temperature with a normal thermometer, that we used to call drivable temperature. Nothing, simple. Or else, for example, if I say today the outside temperature in daytime was 35 degrees centigrade, means I'm talking about drivable temperature. Or for example, in this remote, for example, you'll find a button room temperature. When you press that, you see I can find here 28 degrees centigrade, the room temperature. So this temperature is what? Drivable temperature. Okay, so the normal temperature or drivable temperature both are same. But remember, the important point is here for calculation point of view, you must remember this, we'll use at the time calculation. It will measure the sensibility of air. At the time when we deal with the calculation, like heat gain through wall, glass, partition, etc. For this sensible heat, I believe you already know what is sensible heat. We'll discuss in chapter 3. Na? So to measure the sensible heat, we required this dial temperature. For example, if you want to know how much sensible heat is transferring from outside to inside through wall, we required outside dial temperature and inside dial temperature. That we used to call delta T, outside minus inside. So that is a dial temperature. So the important point, very simple, but the important point, remember, it is used to measure sensible heat of air. That's it. Nothing else. Very simple. So when you watch the news for weather, you'll get the temperature, the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature throughout the day. Na? So they're talking about the drivable temperature only. Okay. Next, and we discussed in the first session the standard temperature for human comfort as per this ASHRAE standard 55, this indoor environment. So the table is given for different conditions. So we can consider standard as 76 degree Fahrenheit. So that is again drivable temperature. Okay. So simple, nothing else, very simple, but we'll use in the at the time of calculation. How to use, I'll show you at the time of load calculation. This level, just focus on this properties of air. Okay. Next, we have this wet bulb temperature. So you see, wet bulb temperature is cannot be explained directly like drivable temperature because this is not the natural property of air. Drivable temperature is a natural property of air, na? But wet bulb is not a direct property of air. This is a property, or this is a temperature will get based on the sling psychrometry or with the operation of the sling psychrometry. So exactly you cannot understand the concept for this. But anyhow, I have some important points to discuss. So first of all, we'll discuss how to measure this wet bulb temperature, then the purpose, so that you'll get the idea. But remember, this is not like a drivable temperature. Drivable temperature is a direct temperature of air, but wet bulb temperature is not direct temperature of air. It's a temperature taken by a thermometer, which is going to, or with the wet cotton on that bulb, and we are supplying air with a velocity say 3 to 5 meter per second approximately. So what will happen? For example, assume that, just you can watch this in the video. Assume that again this is the thermometer. Assume that this is a thermometer, and assume that this is a wet cotton or a wet cloth. So after measuring the drivable temperature, this is important point. After measuring the drivable temperature, we will do this process. So assume that already I measured the drivable temperature and the temperature is showing say 27 degrees centigrade in this thermometer, say drivable temperature. Then what I'll do, I'll take a wet cloth or a wet cotton, I'll cover this bulb with the wet cloth. Okay. After that, either I'll rotate this thermometer or else I'll supply air on this bulb approximately 3 to 5 meter per second velocity. So after some time, what will happen? The condition of the cloth, the cotton is what?
Dry condition.
It will dry, na? So how it will dry?
Evaporation of moisture.
Exactly, because you see, when you supply the air, the evaporation process will take place on this wet bulb, na? And you know, evaporation required heat. So at the time of evaporation, what will happen? It will extract the heat from this thermometer bulb. And when it is extracting the heat from the thermometer bulb, what do you think? The temperature is going to be less than 27 degree or more than 27 degree?
Less than.
Less. So 27 degree was drivable temperature. Now after that, I start the process. Okay. So at the time of this evaporation, the heat will extract from the bulb, resulting in lowering temperature. So that recorded temperature is called wet bulb temperature. Just try to understand the process first, then we'll talk about way to use this. So it's a simple process. Yes.
Just if I'm summarizing the things, same amount of heat is responsible for evaporation as well as sensible heat.
You can consider, you see, in short, you can consider this temperature is this wet bulb temperature is a temperature after evaporation. And again, what you said, this is related to evaporation or evaporative cooling.
Yes.
So let me complete this. Again, we have some more points. So again, I'm going to share the screen. So you see, first of all, get the clear idea about the process. You see, this is called sling psychrometry. In that you'll find this dry bulb and wet bulb. So dry bulb will measure means normal thermometer will measure the travel temperature, and this thermometer with the cotton or a cloth, which is will make it wet. And after that, by this handle, we'll rotate this. Rotating means what will happen? The movement of air. So after some time, the recorded temperature on the below thermometer will find dry bulb temperature. On the above thermometer will get wet bulb temperature. This is the process. Now the question is why this property is required. Okay, so first of all, as you said, this is related to evaporative cooling. At the time of evaporative cooling, or when you're designing, say, air cooler, this concept can be used. Or else you can take example of evaporative cooling. Air cooler works on evaporative cooling. Or else in oil pot, you'll get the cooling based on the evaporative. We'll get the cool water based on the evaporative cooling. Na? So these are a few examples for evaporative cooling. But why exactly we require this property? So remember, at the time of dealing with the load calculation, we required the properties of air, like dew point temperature, relative humidity or humidity. Different properties of air is required. So the rule to use a psychrometric chart is you must have minimum 2 properties of air. Then only one can find the other properties of air using psychrometric chart without doing an experiment. Just sitting in office or sitting in home, using psychrometric chart or using psychrometric chart or using psychrometric software, one can find all the properties of air, but the condition is you must have the 2 properties of air. So dry bulb and wet bulb, 2 are measurable. Na? So dry bulb importance, that is for sensible heat, but wet bulb is not for latent heat. Okay, so that is for evaporation. So then why wet bulb is required? To find the other properties of air using psychrometric chart. Okay, getting a point online?
Can you repeat this point again?
You see, in order to use the psychrometric chart, the condition is if you know 2 properties of air, then only one can use psychrometric chart or psychrometric software to find other properties of air without any experiment. So dry bulb temperature and wet bulb temperature, both are measurable. Na? So if you know this 2 property, simply using the psychrometric chart or psychrometric software, one can easily find the other properties of air without wasting the time, without doing an experiment, just sitting in office with the chart or software. That's it. And when you use the data book at the time of load calculation, like from ASHRAE or from Carrier, for almost all the cities, except few locations, you'll find the information for dry bulb and wet bulb. Okay, so that is available in the standard handbooks. So we'll use at the time of load calculation. So this is not the direct property of air. This property is based on the experiment. And why we need this property? To find the other properties of air using psychrometric chart. Or for just to understand with more detail, you can consider the temperature at which after condensation. Sorry, my mistake. After evaporation. The temperature at which after evaporation. So how much decrease in temperature? According to that, we can relate with the heat. So that can be used for, say, evaporative cooling. But here in air conditioning, evaporative cooling is different and air conditioning is different. Air cooler is not a part of air conditioner, because air cooler will provide only sensible cooling, not the latent cooling. So we'll not discuss more about that evaporative side. So for air conditioning point of view, remember this wet bulb is used to find or to use the psychrometric chart. How to use, that is the next story that I'll show you in chapter 7 at the time of dealing with the load calculation using from this data, ASHRAE data. Okay.